Nimy Resources is a mineral exploration business targeting the discovery and development of critical mineral deposits at its Mons project in the Yilgarn Craton of Western Australia. The company is fast-tracking exploration efforts after recently unveiling a high-grade gallium discovery at its Block 3 prospect. Joining me today from Nimy Resources is its Managing Director, Luke Hampson. Luke, welcome to the Stock Network.
Thank you, Lel. It's good to be here.
Now, your drilling at Block 3 has already delivered what might be the highest grade gallium intercepts in Australia. Can you tell us about the significance of gallium in the modern day high-tech world?
Yeah, well, it is an emerging critical metal for a number of different reasons. In particular, I suppose, what the market seems to be doing. So I'll get on to what our results look like in a second, but it's important to put it into context. So late 2023, the Chinese introduced restrictions or bans, if you like, on the export of gallium. And they produced 95 to 98% of the gallium supplied into the world, if you like. So that was the first bit. And then there were further restrictions where the US completely blocked out of gallium supply in particular, but most economies can't get gallium. So that's happened over the last year and a half. Gallium itself is really important in terms of the modern technologies, in particular AI, EVs, telecommunications, and in particular defence applications. If you think about the emergence of AI, for instance, and 5G networks and all that, they're things that are coming and getting bigger and bigger. So the supply demand is shaping very differently than what it has in the past. As a result, as well, the gallium is on the critical metals list for the EU, the US, South Korea, Japan, Australia. So everyone's sort of recognising that it's a critical metal, short supply, and in fact, probably no supply really when it gets down to it. If 95 to 98% has been removed, we haven't been able to identify any standalone gallium producing mines in the world. So mainly it's a byproduct. So the market dynamics, if you like, are heading towards this. This could be a really interesting time ahead for gallium. If you look at our drill results, it's only probably 14 months ago, roughly, when we drilled 2 holes at Block 3 and came up with high-grade gallium. Typically, what we've seen anyway, high grades are regarded as about 100 grams per tonne or ppm, depending on where you sit in the world. And we had intersections up to around 400 ppm or grams per tonne. So, and there were, in those 2 drill holes, there were a couple of intervals, if you like, that were over 100 ppm grams per tonne, 50, 70 metres. So when we first noticed, we didn't know a lot about gallium. So we did the research, worked out that it was a critical metal, that there were bans in place, and that it could well be a supply squeeze coming, and that has eventuated. So about, what would it be, 6 months ago, we re-drilled and we did another 3 holes there. And those 3 holes again repeated. The 2 out to the west, which were about 250 metres away, got high-grade gallium as well. Not as significant widths, but it was still there. And the one that we drilled along strike, if you like, from the first 2 repeated. In fact, it was a bigger interval of plus 100. So we had to start taking it fairly seriously in terms of what that result looked like and what it might mean to the market. So since then, we've put together a JORC exploration target, and we published that not long ago, a couple of months ago. The upcoming drilling is around about solidifying that and extending it. So we're in a pretty reasonable position, if you like, to well, there are no other results like ours that we can find out there published. There are people putting out around 20 ppm gallium, and it's associated with potentially rare earths. There are the supply coming out of China. I think the most we could find was 100 to 200 bauxite mines, I think, predominantly. So in terms of the supply outside of China, we are way out in front. And I suppose the other part of that goes on from or extends from that is the fact that we've had inquiries now from a company in Taiwan, from Japan, Obviously, we've got the M2I global agreement with the US, and we've had sort of loose ones around Germany and where was it, UAE, but they're a lot less mature. So that the main ones really, have come from those countries that are really after gallium semiconductor producers. The US is more about a defence force application.
Well, Luke, thank you so much for the update on Nimy Resources, gallium. It's a very exciting market in which you're playing, and look forward to those drilling updates throughout the year.
Thank you, Lel.